This week they released a director's cut of the 2004 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame version of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, featuring more footage of Prince playing his solo. So it inspired me to go back and look at the original Clapton solo and learn it properly, and then compare and contrast the Prince solo with the Clapton solo. So I'm going to play those, then I'm going to play my own version of the solo. Then I'm going to tell a little story about Prince being transported in a flight case, and then I'm going to go over the Clapton solo with the tabs slowly at the end of the video. So stick around, and here we go. So comparing the two solos, a bit pointless really. I mean, one's a studio solo, one's a live solo. But if I were to be pushed on the matter, I'd say that the Clapton solo is probably musically more interesting. I mean, he's had time to work it out, and it's there's some great bends in it. I particularly like the step and half bend there, and also how he makes it sound like the guitar's literally weeping with the whoa. The Prince solo, it's a great solo, but more importantly, he falls backwards into the crowd, only for his roadie to catch him. And then at the end of the solo, he throws his guitar in the air and it disappears and doesn't come back. So, I mean, that showmanship for a live guitar solo, that's probably the most important thing. So I saw Eric Clapton live, I think it was 90 or 91, and it was the first date of his tour when he first played Tears in Heaven. He did a breakdown section, they got out the acoustic guitars. I went with my dad to the concert, and he played Tears in Heaven, and my dad turned around and he went, "That's going to be a hit." And I thought, yeah, right, what do you know? Because he'd famously, when he was younger, worked in a record shop as the young, hip, cool person who was supposed to help out the guy running the shop on which records to order for the next week. And they got sent a preview of A Whiter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum. My dad listened to it and went, "No, that'll never do anything. It's a rip-off of Air on the G-string." Of course, the next Saturday, when he'd only ordered in 2 copies, both of which went by about 9:05 in the morning, he spent the rest of the day turning people away, unable to sell them a copy of the single because he hadn't bought it on my dad's advice. I saw Prince live as well at the O2 in London. The O2's a purpose-built arena, and he did 30 days, I think it was 30 days, just after it opened, and he performed in the round. They set the stage up right in the middle of the arena. At the end of the gig, the band all did walk out to the dressing rooms, flanked by security guards, but Prince didn't appear. But there was a big flight case, like a kind of as tall as a person, being pushed by a couple of roadies, sort of in between the band, no fuss being made. And I said to my wife, "I bet you Prince is in that flight case," as a bit of a joke. Anyway, a few weeks later, I was actually playing at the O2, well, the smaller venue inside the same building. There's a sort of 1,500 seat venue called the Indigo, and it was the same sound guys that had worked in the Indigo the night that Prince was playing. Prince would go into the Indigo, and occasionally his band would play every night after the show, and he'd sometimes get up and play. And these same guys were doing the sound, and I said to him, I saw Prince. I saw Prince the other night, and I didn't see him come out from backstage, but they wheeled this flight case out, and they confirmed that indeed he was in the flight case. That apparently there was a little purple table and chair that he sat in, and they closed the lid and then wheeled him into the dressing room. So I don't know whether that's true. If anyone knows, please leave a comment and let me know if that is indeed true. It's a good story, even if it's not. Let's go over the solo slowly with the tab. So it starts off, it's in a kind of pickup bar just before the sequence, so it's over the E, and it's 1, 2, and so he starts bent up to the 17 on the fretting on the 14th, bending up to the 17 on the 3rd string, drops down, and then it's 3 E and 4 E and so the whole phrase, 1, 2. Then when it goes to the A minor, so that's bending up from the 14 again to the 17. So and he kind of vibratos, brings it back down to the 14. Sounds like it's crying. He does that twice. And the next phrase, then moving up to the 17th fret, bending from the 20th up to the 22nd on the 2nd string, then this phrase, 3 E and in the end of that bar, it's the same thing, bending from the 14th up to the 17th. And moving down to this position. Then the last phrase. So the whole thing. 1, 2. you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that, hope it was useful. Please hit like if you did enjoy it, and leave me a comment, and please hit subscribe so you know when I've got another video coming out. And I'll see you on the next video.